You are sitting in your glass-walled office on the 40th floor, staring at a wire transfer, confirmation that should not exist, and your coffee has gone cold in your hand, because your fingers stopped moving the moment you saw the account number. It is a Tuesday morning, ordinary in every way until this exact second, and you are the CEO of Callaway Dynamics, a company your father built from a single garage in Toledo, into a name that appears in headlines. You are used to numbers. You have built your entire life around them, around spreadsheets that don't lie, and balance sheets that don't have feelings. But this number in front of you has a feeling attached to it, and it is not a good one. Your new hire, a quiet single father named Everett Thatcher, submitted his direct deposit information 3 days ago when our onboarded him into the logistics division. You only saw it because a routing error flagged his account for manual review, and you, out of habit, out of the obsessive need to check everything yourself before it reaches your desk, open the file. The account number matches, not similar, not close, identical, down to the last digit, to an account your father has been silently wiring $1 million into every single month for the last 11 years. You know this because you found the standing order buried in his private banking files 2 years ago, after his first stroke, when the doctors asked you to take over his finances because his hands shook too badly to sign his own name. You asked him about it then. He looked at you the way he used to look at you when you were 7 years old and asked why your mother wasn't coming home. He said nothing. He turned his face to the window, and he never answered you. Not once. Not in 2 years. And you let it go, because grief has a way of teaching you which doors not to knock on. But now, the door is standing in your office in the shape of a stranger named Everett Thatcher, and you cannot let it go anymore. You pull his personnel file before you can stop yourself. 34 years old, widower, 1 daughter, 7 years old, named Delphine. No criminal record, no red flags. A logistics coordinator with the work ethic your operations manager described as the kind you can't teach. A man who, according to his emergency contact form, has no family listed, no mother, no father, no siblings, just a little girl and an empty line where the rest of a family tree should be. You tell yourself you are simply doing your job, verifying a security concern, nothing more. But your hands are not steady when you close the laptop. And you know, somewhere beneath the version of yourself that runs board meetings and negotiates 9-figure acquisitions, that you are about to walk into something that will change the shape of your life. You find him in the loading dock 3 days later, not because you are avoiding him, but because you have been rehearsing what to say, and none of the versions sound like something a CEO would say to an employee. He is kneeling beside a delivery pallet, patiently teaching a new hire how to properly secure a shipment. And there is a photograph taped to the inside of his clipboard. A small girl with gap teeth and wild curls, grinning like the whole world belongs to her. Mr. Thatcher, you say, and your voice comes out steadier than you feel. Do you have a few minutes? He looks up, surprised, wipes his hands on his jeans before he shakes yours, and there is something in his face, something careful and guarded, like a man who has learned that when people in nice suits want to talk to him privately, it is rarely good news. You take him to the small conference room on the 2nd floor, not your office, because your office feels too much like your father's shadow, and you are not ready to have this conversation under his portrait. I want to ask you something personal, you say, and I need you to know you're not in any trouble. He nods slowly, jaw tight. Do you know a man named Desmond Callaway? The silence that follows is not empty. It is full, heavy, the kind of silence that has history stuffed into every corner of it. His eyes drop to the table, his hand, resting near his coffee cup, curls into a fist and then releases, like he is physically restraining a memory. That's your father, he says. It isn't a question. Yes, I know the name, he says, carefully. I don't know the man, but you know something. You press, gently. Everett, I need you to understand why I'm asking. There's a transfer every month. $1 million. That's been going into your account for 11 years. I need to know why. His face changes. Not to shock, which is what you expected, but to something closer, to exhaustion, like a burden he has carried so long, he forgot he was carrying it. That's not my money, he says quietly. It never has been. My mother set up a trust account for me when I was a boy, and told me never to touch it, never to question it, that it would end the day the truth came out, and until then, I was to let it be. She died before she ever told me why. I only kept the account because closing it felt like erasing the last thing she gave me. You feel your chest tighten. Your mother, you say. What was her name? Marlowe, he says. And something in you goes very, very still, because that is your name. And you were told your entire life that you were named after your grandmother. And no one, not once, ever mentioned another Marlowe. No, you say quietly. That's not possible. Marlowe Ashford, he says. Before she married my father, Walton Thatcher. The name lands on you like a physical weight, because you have heard it before, once, years ago, in a hospital room, when your father was heavily sedated after his stroke, and mumbling names that made no sense to you at the time. Walton. He said it twice. You thought it was a business partner. You never asked. You go home that night and you do something you have never done before. You go into your father's private study, the one room in the house you were never allowed in. As a child, the one room that still smells like his cologne even though he has not worked from it in years, and you search. You find it in the bottom drawer of a filing cabinet that hasn't been opened in over a decade. Beneath old tax documents and expired passports, a folder, yellowed at the edges, labeled only with the single word, Walton. Inside is a photograph of two young men standing in front of a garage, arms slung over each other's shoulders, both grinning like the future hadn't happened to them yet. You recognize your father immediately, younger than you have ever seen him, full of a kind of hope that seems foreign on his face. The other man you have never seen before, but something about his jaw, the shape of his eyes, is unmistakably familiar, because you have seen that same face on Everett Thatcher 3 days ago in a loading dock. There are letters in the folder, old, handwritten, the ink faded to a pale brown. You read them at your father's desk, with your hands shaking, and slowly, sentence by sentence, a story you were never told begins to surface. Walton Thatcher was your father's first business partner, the engineer who designed the original inventory system that saved Callaway Dynamics from bankruptcy in its second year, the patent that made your father a millionaire, the one that still generates licensing revenue today, was not entirely his own invention. It was built on Walton's blueprints, Walton's late nights, Walton's genius. And when the company took off, your father filed the patent under his name alone, told Walton it was a formality, told him they would split everything as promised, and then never did. Walton found out 3 years later, when the company had already gone public, when it was too large and too powerful to fight. He tried, he hired a lawyer he could barely afford. Your father's legal team crushed him quietly, the way powerful men crush inconvenient truths, and Walton was left with nothing, not even his name on the invention that built an empire, and a wife pregnant with the son he would raise in near poverty, while your father's fortune grew into the billions. Walton died of a heart condition when Everett was 9 years old. The doctor's calling. It's stress-related, though the letters you are reading suggest your father knew exactly what kind of stress killed him. There is a letter, the last one in the folder, written in your father's hand, never sent, addressed to Walton's widow. I cannot undo what I did, it reads, but I will not let his son grow up in the wreckage I made. I will send what I can, every month, for as long as I am able, and I will never ask for forgiveness, because I do not deserve it. Tell him nothing. Let him hate a stranger, instead of loving a man who does not deserve his love. You sit in the dark of your father's study for a long time, holding a piece of paper that has just rearranged everything you thought you knew about the man who raised you. You go to see your father the next morning. He is in his armchair by the window, the way he always is now, watching the birds at the feeder. because his hands can no longer hold a book steady. You sit across from him, and you do not raise your voice, because you have already cried all the anger out of yourself the night before, alone, in a study that smelled like a lifetime of secrets. I know about Walton, you say. I know about the patent. I know about the trust. I met his son. His name is Everett, and he has a daughter, and he works in my logistics department, and he had no idea, not until 3 days ago, why $1 million has been appearing in his account every month for 11 years. Your father's face crumples in a way you have never seen, not even at your mother's funeral. His hand reaches for yours, trembling, and for the first time in your entire life, your father cries in front of you. I was going to tell you, he says, voice breaking, when you took over the accounts. I meant to, but every time I tried, I thought about how you would look at me, and I could not bear it. I built everything you have on a lie, Marlowe. Everything. The house, the company, your name on the door of that building. It all started with what I took from a man who trusted me. You could have made it right, you say, and it is not an accusation. It is a plea, because some part of you still needs him to be the man you believed him to be. I tried, he whispers. God knows I tried, and the only way. I was too much of a coward to do properly. Money instead of truth. Money? Because truth would have cost me you. You bring Everett to the house. 4 days later, you do not tell him why, only that there is someone who needs to speak with him, and he comes reluctantly, holding his daughter's small hand, because he had no one to leave her with, and you find yourself oddly grateful for that, because some truths should not be spoken without the people you love standing beside you. Your father is waiting in the study, the folder open on the desk in front of him, and when Everett walks in and sees the photograph of the 2 young men in front of the garage, his breath catches audibly. That's my father, he says. I've never seen this picture. I have 1,000 more like it, your father says, voice raw. I have his letters. I have his original blueprints, the real ones, the ones with his name on them, not mine. I have kept them for 30 years. Because I could not bring myself to destroy the only proof of what I did, and I could not bring myself to make it right either. I am not asking you to forgive me. I have no right to that. But I want you to know the truth, all of it, and I want you to have back what was always yours. Everett does not speak for a long moment. His daughter, Delphine, tugs on his sleeve and asks quietly why Daddy looks like he's going to cry. And something about the innocence of that question breaks the room open in the gentlest way, because Everett kneels down to her level and says, because I just found out I have more family than I thought I did, baby. And he looks up at you when he says it, not just at your father. Over the following months, you do what your father could never bring himself to do. You correct the patent record publicly, at enormous legal and financial cost, restoring Walton Thatcher's name to the invention that built Callaway Dynamics. You establish a foundation in his memory, one that funds engineering scholarships for children raised by single parents, because you understand now, a way you never did before, that genius is often born into circumstances that never get the credit for shaping it. You and Everett grow close in the way people do when grief and truth and gratitude tangled together into something that looks very much like love. Though neither of you rushes to name it, you spend Sunday afternoons at his small house, sitting on the porch while Delphine draws chalk pictures on the driveway, and you find yourself laughing in a way you had forgotten how to do, easily, without calculation, without a boardroom watching. Your father does not live to see the foundation's first scholarship awarded. He passes quietly in his sleep on a Tuesday morning in autumn, and you are the one holding his hand when the machines finally go still. And despite everything, despite 30 years of silence and one terrible choice that shapes so many lives, you find that you do not hate him. You grieve him fully, the way you would grieve any father, because in the end he found a way, however late, however imperfect, to try to set right what he had broken. At his funeral, Everett stands beside you, Delphine's small hand in his, And when the service ends, he presses something into your palm. It is Walton's original blueprint. The real one. The one with his true signature at the bottom, restored now to its rightful place in history. My father built something that changed your family's life, Everett says softly. I think it's only right that his son gets to be part of it now, too. Don't you? You look at him, and at Delphine, who is already reaching for your hand the way children do when they have decided, without needing to be told, that you belong to them now. And for the first time since you found that wire transfer sitting on your desk on an ordinary Tuesday morning, you understand that some debts are never repaid in money. Some debts are repaid in the family you built to replace the one that was broken.
If this story touched your heart, know that real kindness often hides in silence, and truth, no matter how long it takes, always finds its way home. If you believe in second chances and the power of family, hit subscribe and share it with someone who needs a little hope today.